Thank you for being here, everybody. Really appreciate the opportunity to have a voice of the patient in Arizona. Thank you to everyone from the U of A that really helped make this happen. My name is Peay. I work with AZ Advances. I work very closely with AZBio, and I work in workforce development and entrepreneurial support. I'm just going to share my story. So in 2021, I woke up surrounded by paramedics. It's not how you expect your life to change. Everything felt disjointed, loud, but also somehow distant. And in that moment, there was only one thing that I could focus on: my girlfriend. I locked in on her and refused to look at anyone else, because when nothing makes sense, you really look for the person who does make sense. They told me I had a seizure. I was 28. I was finishing my PhD in neuroscience at Arizona State. We had moved to Arizona from Philadelphia in 2017. And don't worry, I'm not a Birds fan. Really wanted to build, a life and a career. I was studying chronic stress in the brain. And I thought I understood the brain. I thought I understood health. And in that one moment, I realized how quickly everything can become very, very personal. I was sent home from the hospital after a few hours, still trying to convince myself that it was a one-time thing, but it wasn't. That same day, I had another seizure. This time, I was brought to St. Joseph's Hospital in Phoenix, where I met the team at Barrow. That's where everything really shifted. After testing and imaging, they gave me a diagnosis: multiple sclerosis. No slow buildup, no warning signs, just a moment that split my life into before and after. There's something that's really incredibly humbling about going from studying the brain to being a patient of the brain. But what stands out to me isn't just the diagnosis, it's the people. Because while I was the one having seizures, I wasn't the only one going through it, and I really didn't know what was going on while the seizure was occurring. My girlfriend, now my fiance, was there for every moment, and she's been there for every seizure that I've had. She was there the first night, standing in a room full of chaos in a hospital while I couldn't speak or understand what's happening. She was there for the second seizure, for all the hospital visits, for the uncertainty that follows you home, and she's still there now. What's important to remember is caregivers don't get a diagnosis, but they carry just as much weight. They absorb the fear, they manage the unknowns, they become steady when everything else feels unstable. And in many ways, they're the reasons that patients like me are able to keep moving forward. Today, I still live with seizures, about 3 per year, and each one does interrupt your life. Each one reminds you that it's still a part of your story, but it's manageable. And that word, manageable, really matters. Because it means I can still show up, it means I can still work, I can still build, I can still plan for the future. And I do that with the team behind me. The physicians, the researchers, the care providers at Barrow, they didn't just give me a diagnosis, but they gave me a direction. They gave me confidence, and they made it clear that we're working together towards something better, towards being seizure-free. On the MS side, I'm incredibly fortunate. My disease has not progressed on imaging or in how I feel day to day. And I know that's not luck alone. That's science, that's innovation. That's decades of work from people like in a room like this. We talk about bioscience, and it can feel like we're talking about pipelines or platforms and different types of progress. But for me, it's much simpler. It's the reason that I have stability and that patients like me have stability. It's the reason that my fiance can breathe and feel a little easier when I'm waking up from bed. It's the reason that a moment that once felt that everything was falling apart didn't define the rest of my life. So I'll just close with this. There's always a moment. For me, it was waking up surrounded by paramedics. For someone else, it'll be a phone call, a scan, a symptom they can't explain. And in that moment, everything depends on what comes next. The work that you're doing, whether it's research, care delivery, or building the next innovation, shapes what does come next. For me, what came next was support. It was answers. It was a path forward. And because of that, my story is not defined by one moment. It's defined by everything that's coming after. Thank you.